Hey guys, back again, Dr. Matt, Germain, Back to Balance Wellness Centers. We're going to go over a few basic stretches that anybody can do at any point in their life, whether you are in spectacular shape, whether you are struggling to get back in shape, whether you have pain syndromes, whether you do not have pain syndromes. These are really good, just everyday sort of stretches that you can do to help avoid low back issues. If you do have things like sciatica, other issues that you may have been told, these are really good stretches to do. And I think it's important to tell you guys, I had an injury myself. I had an accident earlier this year. I've had herniated discs. I know exactly what they feel like. I know what the symptoms feel like, which helps me understand when you come into this clinic, it helps me help you because I've been through the pain. And if you've ever had that pain, you definitely want to be with somebody who knows what it feels like, because a person to treat that without understanding is sort of like trying to cook without having any recipes. So let's make sure we give you some stretches that you can do to help you with your everyday life. And if you did notice, I'm wearing a horrible looking outfit right now because I spilled water on myself a few minutes ago, and so I had to change into something really quick. So you can get a good laugh at me, it's okay, I'm laughing at myself. So if you can't laugh with yourself, then what is the expression? Can't laugh at all or something like that. Anyway, so Bethany's gonna help me. We're gonna both show you. I want you to get up on your knees like this for me. And this is a basic hamstring stretch. So we're gonna bring one leg forward. It always helps to have something to hold on to, a table, a chair, anything, a yoga ball if you have one of those. So all we're doing is, this is just a beginning position, right? Now if you notice, I'm not flexing forward. We never flex forward. Flexing means this. That is horrible for your low back, and we don't wanna mess around with that, okay? So I'm just on one knee, leg forward, and all I'm doing is very gently, I'm taking my entire center of gravity, I'm moving it forward a few millimeters. You'll feel that in your leg, in the back of your leg immediately. Do you notice that?
Yes.
Now what I don't want her to do is I don't want her tipping her head down. Now that's what everybody does. They always want to do this. The yoga poses, a lot of the other things, yoga is a wonderful, beautiful art, science, and everything else, but it's not perfect for everyone at every point in their life. So we got to be careful about what we do. So we don't want to do flexion. We want to bring our center of gravity forward just a little bit, head up, and you'll feel that in your hamstring. You notice it? Mm-hmm. Now, if she turns her body ever so slightly, come forward a little bit again, you're going to feel that a little bit more in the center, right? The middle part of your hamstrings, 3 hamstrings. So same thing. If she turns herself to 11 o'clock, same thing. You notice that? Yep. And we don't want to bounce, because bouncing can lead to a lot of hamstring strains. So we don't want to do that. So that's the first thing. We want to do everything always up to both sides. Always left and right. Never do one thing at a time. So again, we're using our center of gravity, bringing it forward, but we're not flexing at the waist. Do you see the difference? This is bringing your center of gravity forward, stretching, but we're not flexing down. Okay? So again, little movements. You can always use a clock. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock with any of these stretches. So I'm very gently moving from 11 to 12 to 1. Hopefully that makes sense. So the second thing we want to show you is we were in our hamstring position. We're going to go and do what's called Spiderman. Spiderman stretch is something which helps stretch out your hip flexors as well as your gluteal muscles and a few other things all at once. So all you do is, if you're starting this position, we're going to put one leg in front of the other. And I don't know how to really say this. You're just going to have to watch it. So we're going to put one knee in front of the other. Right, perfect. And if you notice, Bethany actually let herself sit into the pose, which is perfectly fine. I have to start a little higher because, again, I've got low back issues myself. So we all have different levels of how much we can do this, okay? Keep that in mind. So what you'll notice, I've got one leg in front, or we have one leg in front, and then we have one leg behind. It's not like this. The leg is actually extended out to some extent and just laying behind us. So the reason why we call it Spider-Man is that you could probably see Bethany a little bit better than me with those pink shoes. She's in a position where she would be crawling. So Spider-Man crawls up the wall, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put our hands in front. We're gonna sit into our extended knee just a bit. And what you're gonna notice is you're gonna feel that stretch in your low back. This is a good starting position. Now, as we have gone like 20, 30 seconds of this, allowing that glute to stretch, we're gonna do that 11, 12, and 1 thing again. So let's go to 11 o'clock so we're gonna use a wall climber, right? So we sort of like Spider-Man, we just sort of move to 11 o'clock. And again, those glutes are stretching really nice. We're gonna go back to 12 o'clock in the center. and we do that for about 20 or 30 seconds, and then we go to 1 o'clock. And again, if you have any pain or discomfort, you discontinue. Okay, cannot say that enough. So as we do this, and we start stretching now, Bethany was able to do it a little bit better than me. What I'm doing is, if you notice I'm up, I'm letting myself sort of sink in. So I'm a little farther down. My butt is touching the ground right now, whereas I started up a little bit, okay? Now I'm going down. Are you already in that position? So same thing, a little bit of a different stretch. 11, 12, 1, okay? What we don't want to do is we don't want to do flexion and we don't want to do rotation. So just like the hamstring stretch, we're putting our center of gravity forward. We're not going down like this, okay? As you get farther along and you stretch more and your body's a little bit more accommodating, you can do different things. But for right now, we're going to keep it basic. So that's position number 2. So we thought it might be helpful to show the same stretch, the Spiderman stretch, from a different angle. And let me reiterate to you, as your glutes go, stretching your glutes out, it really affects your low back. So a lot of that tightness you feel in your low back can be accommodated and fixed with some of these positions that we're showing, some of these stretches that we're showing you. So as of right now, she was sitting up a bit, and then as we stretched, she was allowing her glute to sit down a little bit. So show them the first position where you're a little bit more up. Right, so she's more up, so her glute is a little bit raised off the floor. And then as she eases into that 11, 12, and 1, relaxes into it for about 30 or 40 or 50 seconds, then she allows her hips to drop down, and her bottom side is actually, on this side, is actually touching the floor. And as you can see, her leg is extended. This is why we call it Spiderman, because your hands are out. I'm a doctor, I should know what a leg is versus a hand, right? So she's going up the wall, she's walking up the wall. If we have a little bit more space to show you, you could see her literally doing 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And the reason we would do that is she's stretching her low back and her glutes at the same time. By moving your hand angles, you're moving, as you can see, I'm extending my torso up a little bit. So I start here and I start extending it out like Spider-Man. I'm stretching not only the glutes, but I'm stretching the low back as well, okay? So we're back in this position. I want to show you one other thing. So if you bring your front foot forward and then you allow yourself to bend, we're going to be stretching what's called the psoas muscle, which is the deepest hip flexor. You'll feel it right here in your midsection, okay? Same thing, as you've relaxed into the stretch a little bit, you can move yourself a little bit, very gentle 11, 12, and 1, as we did before. Holding on to something, as I told you, is a very good way to stretch for stability. So not just going straight, but going from 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.